Tuscaloosa County that left people living nearby unsettled.
With cool weather on the horizon, the city of Birmingham is asking for your help to keep our neighbors warm.
And we'll show you an earthquake that caused an airport camera to shake overnight.
WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Well, that's at least one thing I'm glad we don't have to worry about. Earthquakes, right? Well, I know we've had a few, but
nothing like they have out west.
Yeah, nothing like that.
It could be worse.
So glad you're with us here for First Alert Weather Extra. Wes with meteorologist Lauren Linehan and Tania Michelle.
Missed you guys yesterday. You missed JP, but Wes was jamming it out at a concert yesterday. I saw the video.
I got to admit, I snuck off to go check out the Foreigner concert, and it was a packed house in Tuscaloosa last night. And I just want to give a big congratulations and shout out to the Tuscaloosa County Choir, County High. They actually were on stage. They got invited on stage to play a song. I mean, talk about an iconic band. I mean, every song was a hit, but it was quite the show last night.
If I were them, I'd put that on my resume.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to put that on the resume, right? I know, a memory of a lifetime, though. But for everyone that went out, I know they were pleased with the forecast last night, of course.
And today.
But it is dangerously dry.
It is, unfortunately. So we've got a lot in the show about drought conditions, and we do have some changes, though, Wes.
Yeah, we do have some changes on the way. Let's talk about the next big thing. And I know we're talking a lot about the dry weather, but how about this warm weather? Afternoon highs. And look, it's not only for us. It's across a good part of the country. Temperatures running, look at that, 20 degrees above normal for this time of the year. I mean, we're talking readings in the 80s, but some cooler weather is on the way. So that's another big thing we need to talk about. It looks like this weekend, I'm not expecting freezing conditions, but overnight low temperatures could tumble into the low 50s and 40s, and daytime temperatures in the 60s. But that's on the way for the weekend. And also on the way, finally, some wet weather. And our thoughts really haven't changed on this. We still think there's going to be enough moisture around where we'll get some rain. Now, we still don't see this as a drought-ending kind of rain, but I'm seeing a chance of showers coming back starting late tomorrow night and into the day on Friday. And you can see that moisture. We've actually had a southwest flow in place, and that's transporting that moisture in. And what happens is we get in a situation Friday, Saturday, and Sunday where we have clouds and moisture overrunning the state, and at times some disturbances ride along and generate scattered showers. And I'm seeing that chance sticking around. It looks like Saturday and Sunday, as you make those plans, a possibility of seeing a few scattered showers is going to be there. Now, of course, we're dry at the moment. Temperature-wise, 72 at Tuscaloosa at this hour, 65 in Anniston, 73 in Birmingham, 69 in Columbiana here in Shelby County. Next big thing, again, the wet weather you can see as we get into our Thursday. We've got increasing clouds, but you can see the chance for showers comes back tomorrow night. This is from some of our Barron data, and I've been sharing a lot of different models that we have, and each model, it still shows indications that we could have showers at times again Friday, and then also looks like if you don't see much rain Friday morning, some wet weather could come back. And yes, for high school football, I would plan for the possibility of some scattered showers. But we'll walk you through the rest of the weekend. I'll be back with a full 7-day forecast.
Well, with widespread drought conditions across the state, earlier today, Governor Kay Ivey issued a no-burn order. The drought emergency declaration bans all outdoor burning across the state. The order goes into effect tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. It will remain in effect until the governor decides to repeal it.
And that burn ban is in effect to prevent more fires like the one that burned 125 acres in Tuscaloosa County yesterday. Today, smoke was still hanging around the area, and the nerves of people living near the Griffin Ridge community are still shaken. One homeowner says he was able to rescue his horses just in time.
I said, hey, we need to get the horses relocated. He said, there's a fire moving through. I didn't really think much about it, and then he was like, no, it's blowing through there fast. So I got up and we ran over there, got the horses loaded, and then from that point the fire was just moving really fast.
And according to the Alabama State Fire Map, there are fires burning in almost every county in the state right now. Most of those are controlled or contained.
Fires aren't just a problem here in Alabama. Several states across the South are dealing with brush fires and wildfires because of the drought. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seri has more about where firefighters are battling the flames.
November marks the peak of wildfire season, and it's already off to a strong start across the South. Virginia remains under a state of emergency as 2 large fires scorch parts of the state. The National Park Service says the Quaker Run fire burned about 2,800 acres of private, state, and federal land. As of Tuesday, the flames broke containment lines and spread into Shenandoah National Park, prompting Virginia's National Guard to send Black Hawk helicopters to douse the flames. While in North Carolina, fire officials say the Poplar Drive fire in Henderson County has scorched more than 400 acres since sparking Saturday.
Season is fall, and we have a lot of deciduous forest here, primarily a lot of deciduous on this particular fire.
But crews there say falling leaves are hindering containment efforts.
We have leaf drop continuing, and so what that entails is new fuel to burn daily until all those leaves are down. What that does to the ground, as you ask, is it gets in our fire lines. So we have to clean those out and monitor those.
Fire officials blame drought conditions and gusty winds for the overactive fire season. Forecasters say parts of the South are also experiencing warmer than normal temperatures for this time of year. The Copernicus Climate Change Service releasing its monthly findings on Tuesday, saying 2023 is virtually certain to be the world's warmest on record. The National Weather Service says the South could get a break later this week with rain in the forecast. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Well, earlier today, a magnitude 5.3 earthquake shook up West Texas. You're looking at a camera at El Paso International Airport, shaking as the quake occurred. The epicenter was in a rural area between Midland and El Paso. Luckily, no one was hurt and there were no reports or damages. Reports of
And the city of Birmingham is collecting donations for its warming shelters before temperatures turn colder for the winter. Coats, scarves, bottled water, and toilet paper were among some of the donations brought to Boutwell Auditorium. Mayor Randall Woodfin says Birmingham is a giving city, and he is appreciative of everything being done for the city's unhoused population. If you missed the clothing drive today, there will be another opportunity to drop off donations at Boutwell on November 28th and 30th. And in 30 seconds, we'll take you under the sea to check on how coral populations are holding up after the summer's record heat. Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Warming oceans are considered the greatest threat to the world's coral reefs. But already parts of Australia's Great Barrier Reef are showing some signs of resiliency, with coral now starting to regenerate. CNN's Ivan Watson has more from the ocean down under.
Nighttime on Australia's Great Barrier Reef. The sea explodes in an otherworldly spectacle. This is coral spawning. One of the world's greatest natural wonders is made up of billions of living creatures that reproduce like this each year. And this season has scientists excited.
We were out diving until about 11 o'clock last night looking at the coral spawning, and we were lucky enough to see some of the species spawning. Not all of them, but we saw the soft corals, and they filled up the water with bundles of eggs and sperm, which was really spectacular.
The spectacular sight is a type of synchronized breeding. Coral polyps release millions of sperm and egg bundles into the water all at once. When two bundles from the same species collide, new life is born. It's a display of nature's resilience, repeated around this time of year across the Great Barrier Reef's nearly 133,000 square miles. But while some parts of the reef remain healthy, other parts are bleaching and dying, killed by temperature rise due to global warming.
They're a little bit like Goldilocks. They need the temperature and other conditions to be just right. And if they go outside of those boundaries, then we have this phenomenon called coral bleaching.
Scientists in Australia are studying ways to boost the chances for successful reproduction. Right now, it is nature that holds the key to the reef's survival.
This process of sexual reproduction, which is what's going on, is also one of the ways in which you get natural adaptation to changing conditions. Now, one of the big challenges with climate change is it's happening so fast that it may mean that the genetic variability isn't able to keep up with it. But nonetheless, it's really important that the process is happening.
The coral spawning at Moore Reef near the city of Cairns gives hope that this wonder of the world might still be rescued. The speed at which we transition to green energy and the degree to which our planet warms will determine how much of the Great Barrier Reef can be saved. Ivan Watson, CNN.
Well, this year saw the warmest October in recorded history. We'll tell you what trend it's a part of coming up after the break.
Hey, we got some more good news here on Weather Extra. We're almost at the end of the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season. And while we didn't see a lot of activity in the Gulf of Mexico, it was still a very active season, as Mickey Ferguson and Matt Daniel explain.
So Mickey, believe it or not, it's been a pretty active hurricane season. Thankfully, we haven't had anything here to deal with locally.
I believe it.
So I just wanted to give you an idea of what's been happening. We've got a month to go.
Yeah.
Really less than a month to go. It ends November 30th. But these are all the names that have been used, and there's all but 2 left on this list. So 19 named storms.
Vince and Whitney, and there's, a subtle chance that we could end up with a Vince or Whitney. It's, like you said, an active season, and there is a potential for later on.
That's right.
But usually in November, December, well, by November 30th, we're usually out of the Atlantic hurricane season.
That's right. And of course, the National Hurricane Center, NOAA, they actually forecast an above average season. Looks pretty verified. And there we are on the calendar year. It really slows down and shuts off by December 1st. We can sometimes see some random storms in the middle of the Atlantic, the end of December, early January. In fact, we had one unnamed storm earlier this year in January, which is also included in the 2023 activity. But yeah, we're seeing things slow down significantly. And one way I know of this is I'll go to the National Hurricane Center website and it pops up these words right here.
Yeah, it's like little tumbleweeds go rolling by.
And we're fine with that.
So we do have the potential, though, next week of getting something interesting out there.
Maybe. I'm not really convinced, because last week we thought we would see something form and nothing really materialized. But these are the spots that have a possible chance for development in November off the southeast coast. Usually you have fronts that move through, and sometimes you can get these systems spinning up along those decaying fronts, and then they just move off into the northern Atlantic. The central Atlantic is a possible area, and of course the Caribbean is a possibility. And this is looking ahead, very long range.
Let's take a gander with our GFS long range model. You want to?
Yes, and we'll just let you know we're not predicting this happening. This is what models are hinting at, and a lot of the long range models are showing area of low pressure developing, but we just don't know if it's going to intensify, if it's going to impact anyone. It may just meander here in the Caribbean. But this is the GFS. It's more aggressive than any of the other models we're looking at, but it is showing this potential. And this is showing Wednesday of going into next week into the following weekend. So this is about 10 days away.
Maybe see a low develop there, but as far as how intense it could get, it's still very debatable, but showing some energy there. We'll just have to wait and see.
Well, that's right. And of course, you know, you can track the tropics through the WBRC First Alert Weather app, Mickey.
Yeah, I knew that. Oh, you're telling them.
Well,
okay.
Well, yeah, I was telling you and them.
Okay,
so.
just
But
reminding
yeah, you
me.
can track that and also look at all your forecasts through there. So make sure you give it a download. And of course, if anything forms, we'll let you know.
And also some lovely weather photos here from the First Alert Weather app. This in today from Vestavia Drive. Want to thank Susan Swagler for sharing this. We've had some nice dry conditions out there. A big thank you for sharing. Beautiful fall colors and trustful from our weather watcher Tyler Young. And it's been so dry. I know a lot of leaves. You've got the dryness having a big impact on the fall colors out there as well. Pell City from in the front of my house, says Ricky Morton with that weather photo. And this was over in Tuscaloosa. This is at Kai-Kinkee right there in the Vance area. But, you know, we've had the fire, and you can see early in the day what happens at night is as the ground cools off, it cools off faster than the air above. And sometimes you end up with an inversion that will trap a lot of this wildfire smoke. So early in the day, if you're in the vicinity of where some of these brush fires have been happening, it can have quite an impact there on visibility. All right, let's talk about our weather. And tonight we're going to end up with another night where we see a big, well, temperatures are not going to drop off as drastically as the past several nights. We'll see those readings out there during the overnight hours cooling off into the low 60s for most areas early in the day. Some of the model data is wanting to generate a few showers, but the low levels are still extremely dry, so we're not going to see any rain just yet, but we could get some wet weather by tomorrow night across parts of the area. But with respect to Thursday, making plans tomorrow, it's a mostly cloudy day. Afternoon highs once again reaching into the upper 70s. We may touch 80 in a few spots, but look at Friday morning, 6 a.m., seeing a better chance for some showers again late tomorrow night going into Friday. That's when we could start to see some rain, and we're still confident we're going to see some wet weather out of this. We still don't think this is going to be a drought ender, as Tania and Matt, Mickey, Lauren have talked about, but what we're going to be seeing is that shower chance. You can see it sticks around, and could be some impacts for high school football there Friday night, so plan for that possibility with that chance of rain. But this system stalls out, so even as this front stalls, we still continue to see the clouds and the moisture overrunning the state here, so there's a chance we could see some waves of showers Saturday and Sunday. I would plan for that. It's not an all-day washout on Saturday, not an all-day washout on Sunday, but there will be chances for scattered showers in that forecast. Look at Sunday here, some of the new data coming in showing a pretty good chance. This is from the GFS showing Sunday morning we could see some showers, and then we'll see all all this move out into early next week, but there are more opportunities for wet weather that we're seeing in the long range. If you're traveling for the college games, I know some of you may be hitting the road tomorrow. 49 there at Lexington at kickoff. Chilly but dry for Alabama fans. 50s and dry weather for UAB at Navy. And then for the Auburn game at Fayetteville, starting out in the 60s, but chilly during the evening as those temperatures take the big tumble. But here's our 7-day forecast. Again, we have that chance of showers for Veterans Day, so plan for that possibility. Not an all-day washout, but as we go to meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Lauren, we've got rain this weekend, and it looks like just beyond the 7-day forecast, we could see more showers.
Yeah, Wes, there is going to be that possibility for some more showers in the forecast, even as you said, beyond the 7-day. So as we look at that first alert weather calendar, we've of course highlighted the upcoming weekend. But what about into next week? It looks like we'll be dry to start, but possibly could see a system coming in Thursday of next week that could bring some showers. And then the few days before Halloween, what month is it? November. Apparently before Thanksgiving, it looks like the weather could be a little bit more unsettled. So of course we'll want to keep an eye on that for your Thanksgiving travels. But right now I want to switch us to that Climate Prediction Center outlook. 8 to 14 days from now, you see above average temperatures possible across a good portion of the U.S. and that does include us here in Alabama. So what does that mean? Well, I don't think it's going to be necessarily blazing hot, but you'll notice our average temperatures as we get into mid-November in the mid-upper 60s. So kind of right along that line, maybe getting into the 70s, looking a little bit warmer next weekend. And then doesn't look like we have any frost or freeze threats in the forecast either, with low temperatures generally in the 40s and 50s. But what about precipitation? Because we need to get out of this drought. Looks like maybe the possibility of a more unsettled weather pattern could be leading to above average precipitation in the forecast. So as we look at the future cast here, as we go to Thursday, November 16th, showing a ridge of high pressure building again across the southeast, which could help our temperatures to go up. But then possibly as we get into next weekend, some more clouds around as we see the potential for some disturbances to get a little closer that could be bringing some rain heading into the few days before Thanksgiving. Tania?
Well, Lauren, even with rain chances back in the forecast, the drought continues across Alabama. And the wildfire problem in the state even includes a planned controlled burn that eventually grew out of control down near Montgomery. Here's more on that fire that scared some homeowners.
The smoke could be seen for miles. It was coming from a controlled burn that had grown out of control along the Troy Highway south of Taylor Road.
I came home this afternoon, drove up the road, and they had the big signs up there that said controlled fire.
Homeowner Glenn Boland told WSFA 12 News reporter Julia Avant on the scene he watched the fire as it grew and spread closer to his house.
Well, when it got to right here behind our house, those flames were at least, I'd say, 9, 10, 11 feet high.
So now it's literally in your backyard.
It was in my backyard.
Firefighters finally got the flames put out, but this is one of many similar incidents that are happening statewide. A fire alert remains in effect, and in the northern half of the state, outdoor burn permits are no longer being issued. The State Forestry Commission now activating a secondary force of firefighters to back up the frontline first responders.
We have been activated to help assist and relieve those people in the field who are seeing these fires every day, and we need to get them some R&R.
And that was talking about the wildfire threat. But this marks the 5th consecutive month that average global temperatures hit record highs. It comes as Earth is on track to have its warmest year on record. We'll be right back with more First Alert Weather Extra.
All right, well, Tania, Lauren had a great visit yesterday. I just want to give a big thank you and shout out to all the members of Bethel Baptist Church.
Oh,
yeah,
so cute.
And, you know, we talked weather safety, we sang some songs, and I just want to say this is in Dora, so if you've ever been right there around Summiton, they were asking about the Sky Vision camera that we often take there. But just a very nice group. Spent a couple hours there. And
the food, though.
Look at this.
Now, I know you come back from these visits with cake a lot, but man, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that keeps us going late at night, and we'll, of course, talk more about the forecast tonight, and we'll be talking more about that chance of rain for Friday. That is first.